How we wake and start our days is so very important for our mental and physical well-being. In the coming weeks, I'll be sharing my morning routine, which I developed over many years of research coupled with trial and error, which I believe can benefit many people. Each part has its own unique benefits, so you can incorporate as much or as little as you would like into your mornings. After waking, I go to the bathroom to meet my body's needs. After washing my hands, I leave to engage in the first part of my morning routine, which is the Wim Hof breathing technique. I am not affiliated with Wim Hof in any way, but from one human to another, I have found this technique incredibly beneficial for starting my day, as well as other health benefits, including supporting me to acclimatize to altitude when I lived in the high altitude region of Bogota in Colombia, South America, as I am one of the few people who really struggle with living above 2,500 meters. I will not try to teach such a powerful technique, as it is not mine to teach. So I have included in the description below links to Wim Hof's breathing tutorial video, which I really recommend to watch if you have not seen it yet, to get the most out of your breathing exercise, as well as a link to the beginner's breathing video, which I have used for a long time. Starting the day with the Wim Hof breathing method, I have found to be an incredibly supportive process for improving my morning meditations. As I enter my breathing exercise, my mind may be a little busy with all the things coming later that day. I focus on my breathing with my hands on my lower abdomen, ensuring to inflate my lower lung area. I bring my hands to the floor as I enter my breath hold, allowing my muscles to relax, feeling my shoulders and the rest of my body melt onto the surface beneath me, remembering to relax my jaw, as the jaw can hold a great deal of tension of the body. I draw my attention to my heartbeat, feeling the blood flowing throughout my body, as I ask my heart to beat slower. Through this process, my mind empties of all other thoughts. As the session draws to a close and my breathing returns to normal, I transfer to my meditation posture. And allow my mind to go within to see what I experience this morning. Meditation has widely been recognized to be significantly beneficial for people, thanks to countless studies. From reducing anxiety, focusing the mind, connecting with amazing ideas, through to even reducing blood pressure and beyond. This is one of the reasons why I include it in my morning routine, as the mind is emptiest in the morning, as we have processed numerous memories from short-term to long-term memory as we've slept, freeing up space in our minds for our new day and all that it brings. Following my Wim Hof breathing, I transfer into my meditation posture. I have tried many meditation postures in my life, and I have found the full lotus to be the best for me, as it allows me to fully straighten my back, as the sitting bones are resting fully on the floor, which not only is the most comfortable position for sitting for long periods I have found, but also allows me to fully inflate my lungs for oxygen-enriching breathing throughout my meditation. I'll be making a full video in the future about meditation postures to explain them further, as there is so much to cover. I then place my hands resting palm up on my knees, with my forefinger and thumb touching. There are many ways to rest your hands in meditation. Try as many as you like to see which suit you best at this time in your journey. I then relax my jaw, to practice floating tongue technique. This may sound a little like my tongue is levitating my mouth. Sadly, it is not. What it means instead is to allow the jaw to relax and in turn relax the tongue. As so often, the tensions of the body are reflected in the jaw and the tongue. For often, when we are angry, frustrated, stressed or similar, we will force our tongues against the roof of our mouths as we lock the jaw muscles around them. I find floating tongue technique incredibly beneficial, for as I relax my jaw and my tongue, I find the rest of my body's muscles also relax in turn. Arguably, our present-day lives are the busiest they've ever been. Meditating in such a world full of more and more people, more and more things, distractions and beyond can feel at times like trying to meditate in the middle of the storm of the mind. Thinking like this reminded me of the eye of a storm. The middle of a storm. For in the middle of so much going on, there can be a tranquil place of calm and peace. Now when I meditate, I focus on being the calm in the middle of my busy life. Allowing myself to go within to see what I may discover this day. Following my meditation, I change my clothes to go and welcome the morning sunshine with the yoga practice of sun salutation. I found that sun salutation throughout the numerous styles of yoga is universally similar, with little differences in transition while the postures remain the same. I found that sun salutation is a wonderful way of moving the body in the morning. As stretching in this gentle manner is a great way to loosen the muscles to start the day, increasing blood flow and preparing for what the day will bring. There are also studies that have identified exposure to sunlight supporting the process of waking. So I perform my sun salutation facing the sun in the morning. I have added child pose to my sun salutation as I have found the posture is very helpful for my body in the morning. I've heard many yoga practitioners say that a flexible body can lead to a flexible mind. I can identify with the logic of this, for I have struggled with flexibility most of my life following numerous years of cycling when I was younger, without warming up or stretching. This led to significant limitations in my movement and flexibility. Through regular stretching later in my life, I have gone from my hands reaching my knees when trying to touch my toes, to reaching what seemed impossible, my feet. The flexibility of the mind I believe these yoga practitioners are alluding to is seeing little steps in progress day in, day out, transforming into huge leaps over time, witnessing what may have seemed impossible, becoming possible. For these reasons and more, you may also like to add sun salutation into your morning routine. Like with most people's morning routines, mine is designed for setting me up for the day the best way. From my Wim Hof breathing to my meditation through to my yoga, which then prepare me for my morning workout, which was inspired, in truth, by One Punch Man's main character, Saitama, who said he trained for 3 years every day doing this very routine of 100 press-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, followed by a 10-kilometer run. Being honest, my workout is designed to be at least less than 30 minutes, as this has been found to be, by many studies, the most effective time for training. Also, the shorter it is, the easier it is to not do it. So I removed the 10k run and added a few other things. This morning workout is designed to maintain my health and well-being, which are important things. But I believe exercise should be with purpose, of accessing as much joy and happiness in our lives as possible. This is why I encourage people to find a physical passion they enjoy in their lives and maintain their bodies to engage in that passion as often as possible. One of my passions is mountain biking. I love to be on my bike, riding up hills, but most of all riding down them. So I maintain my body to ride my bike as often as I can. I start my workout with pull-ups. I aim for 50 wide grip pull-ups. I say aim as I'm still building, and that's okay. I always train by moving my body as far as it will move within that specific movement. As you can see here, I allow my muscles to fully extend in the pull-up position, and I raise my body so my chin reaches the bar. If you are learning to do pull-ups, using a lower bar to raise yourself like this can really help to build the muscles for the full pull-up. Next is push-ups. I aim for 100. The most important thing is form and technique, in my opinion. I go with a wide press-up position like this, but you can use whichever position or stance you prefer. As for form and posture, I aim to have my body as flat as possible, while lowering my body as close to the floor as I can. I have found focusing my attention on my abdominal muscles and my thigh muscles allows me to lock out my body most effectively in this position. If you are learning to do push-ups, starting with your knees on the floor like this can really help to build towards full push-ups. Focus again on form, aiming to be as straight as possible. Next are sit-ups. Again, I aim for 100. With the sit-ups, all I remember is some advice from a gym teacher I had in school, who said to not put my hands behind my head as I sit up, in case I pull my neck muscles in the process of sitting up. So I allow my hands to float by my side of my head as I go through the reps. If you are learning sit-ups, finding something to anchor your feet like this can really help in the process of developing this technique. Next is abdominal stretch with the bridge. This really helps to release the abdominal muscles after all those sit-ups. Also helps to strengthen the lower back. I aim to push my shoulders as far back as possible as I push my waist as high as I can. Next is lower back workout. For full details on this technique, you will find a link up in the corner as well as in the description of this video. Finally, we have air squats. Again, I aim for 100. With this technique, the main things I aim for is to not allow my knees to pass over my toes, as this puts undue stress on the ligaments in the knees. I go as low as I can while keeping my back as straight as possible. As a little bonus, I go onto the balls of my feet to train the calves that little more. With all of these exercises, I train technique and form first, then increase speed once I have mastered these. There you have it. After finishing my workout, it's time to head to the shower to wash off all the sweat from my exercises that morning. I start by showering in a lovely warm temperature as I take care of my personal hygiene. Once I am clean, I prepare myself for the next step of my morning routine, my cold shower, inspired again by Wim Hof. When I started cold showers, I would shower for about 30 seconds or so, and then I built up to a minute and then further. Now I time my cold shower by the time it takes me to complete my morning vocal exercises, which I started following injuring my vocal cords during an event I was running a while ago. I start with the low notes with the mantra of Om Mani Padme Hum, which has a lovely story behind it, which you'll find a link to the full story in the top right corner right now. I then go into the high notes by singing Happy Birthday. I turn throughout my cold shower to expose as much of my body to the cold water as possible. Then I finally go into a full scream, inspired by primal scream therapy, which not only trains my vocal cords, but also allows me to release any tensions I may have built up in a healthy way. Warning: screaming like this can put a lot of strain on the voice and the vocal cords in turn, so I recommend building up to this over time. Now I am introducing ice baths into my morning as progression from the cold showers. Warning: cold exposure like this can trigger the shock response in people, which can be life-threatening. So should you wish to try this, please start with short exposures, building your way up slowly to colder and longer exposures, and if possible, ensure you have someone around you to offer support should you require it. Interestingly, I found out while researching for this video that cold therapy, also known as cryotherapy, cryo meaning cold, was first identified in human history as far back as the ancient Egyptians. The benefits of cryotherapy are mostly documented for supporting muscle recovery. Other benefits I have found with cold exposure in the morning have been improved comfort in cold temperatures as the autumn turns to winter, reduced periods of illness, and the most noticeable of all, I have found myself feeling incredibly alert for the rest of the morning. In other words, I find cold exposure in the mornings is better than any coffee I've ever drunk. The greatest benefit I have found, though, is facing fear each morning. For I won't lie, I absolutely dread the cold each morning. But I know I will feel better for it when it is over. So I face my fear each morning, and I realize that, like so many fears, the thought of it is so much worse than the actual reality of it. Taking this realization into my future challenges and facing them as and when I need to. Hello everybody. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you my morning smoothie, which I hope benefits you just as much as it does me. Now, should you be interested in replicating this at home, you will find a full list of ingredients and some of the nutritional information in the description below this very video. But I want to say, before we go any further, that this is a blueprint. What I mean by this is that this recipe, this selection of foods, is what I have found has been beneficial for me and my dietary needs. Now, with so many different people out there, body types and so on and so forth, everyone's smoothie probably has to be adapted to their personal needs. But I hope you'll see through this blueprint that actually you can maximize all the different things which would benefit you to help you start the day the best way you possibly can, well, on a nutritional way at least. So I hope you see through this selection of fruits and vegetables and things we have here that you can start to incorporate what suits you based on your dietary needs. And being aware, of course, of any allergies or tastes you don't enjoy, let's not add those if they don't suit you. But I hope you may find this tasty and enjoy it just as much as I do. The ingredients I have here, like I said, are what I found have been tasty and delicious for me, but also incredibly nutritious. So let's start with some of those powerful ones we've got at the front. So at the front here, I have turmeric powder. Of course, fresh turmeric will be just as good, but this is what I have access to while I'm here in New Zealand. So I pop that straight in. Next up, I've got Cacao powder. Now, this has been proven to be incredibly beneficial for a lot of people, including myself, and supposedly even helps with memory. Although I don't know if that's helping so much right now, but we'll see. Next up, I've got flaxseed powder. Now, you don't have to have it as a powder, you can have it as flax seeds, but I find this is going to be very good for my nutrition, helps with a lot of variety of things, which you'll find below, including omega-3s. But what it is here for me is, by having a powder, it makes it a lot easier for the blender to get this as smooth as I like it. That's the key thing, it's about as smooth as I like it. You might like your smoothie a bit more chunky and things. I personally like it as smooth as possible. So in that goes. Next up, we got fresh ginger. Now, if your smoothie maker or blender, whatever you like to call it, is really powerful, then it doesn't matter how you treat this, so you can just chuck it in as you like. I found with more recently with the blenders we've been having that by cutting across the grain, it makes the ginger a lot easier for the blender to chop up rather than going with the grain. So easiest way to put it is if you go with the grain, you get long strands, which is kind of a bit like drinking hair. Not particularly tasty in my personal opinion, but if that's what floats your boat, then tuck in. But I chop across the grain and see if that helps you. Oh, missed a bit. There you go. Next up, we got oats. Now, oats basically are clean carbohydrates, which I find very good for giving me a lot of energy throughout the day. This lasts throughout the morning and takes me right at the lunchtime, no problems at all. So put in as much as you like. I personally put in about 2 handfuls to make sure I got plenty of energy for me to get through the morning. And there goes as well. Now we've got a chopped up banana. Now you can put this in whole, of course, most blenders can deal with that, but I just chopped it up because it's easier for the video. Now we get to the interesting stuff. Now this is beetroot. I am a big fan of root vegetables and things which grow in the ground because the nutrition in them is often very high, like carrots, parsnips, yams. Beetroot for me is an absolute winner. So I chop this up, chuck it in, and it gives a lovely color as well as also incredible benefits personally for me. Now here I've got basically it's a mix of almond butter and peanut butter. Now these are as clean as I can find them, no sugar, all those sort of things. But I've mixed them together just to mix them up easier. But you can use handfuls of nuts, depending of course if you have allergies or not, and just get it in there. The benefits of having a butter as opposed to having the nuts again helps with getting the, well, smoother tasting blend of your smoothie. So basically the easier it is for your blender to mix it up, the easier, smoother it'll be. And that's why I like it that way. Now we get to the best bits. Well, in my opinion anyway, because it's the bits I love most, which is the fruit. So here I've got loads of frozen blueberries. The benefits of having your fruits and vegetables frozen where possible is it locks in the nutrition for a longer period of time. So when we keep them out of the fridge like this, or if we have them in the fridge, they are losing their nutritional value bit by bit by bit. Now, it still happens in the freezer, but it's extended exponentially in comparison to what we can achieve with even just a fridge. So I really recommend if you are able to keep your fruits and vegetables in the freezer, if you want to lock in that nutritional value, unless, of course, if you're growing them at home and you can pick them and whack them in immediately into your blender, then that's the best way to make sure you get the most out of your nutritional value of your fruits and vegetables. Next up, my personal favorite is raspberries. Huge fan of them. If you're not, no worries. Find what suits you. And then now we get to other nutritional benefits. We've got here is some broccoli I've got. Incredibly great for you. Contains zinc, which supposedly is good for growing hair. Not proven for me anyway. Now we get to kale. It is well known for being incredibly nutritious and beneficial for a lot of people. So this is why I've included it in my smoothie as well. In it goes as well. Let's plug it in a bit. Okay. Now to help the blender go around, I've added a bit of water. Okay, this just helps get everything moving a lot easier. Now we have my final ingredient, which is kombucha. Now, if you didn't know this stuff already, this is a fermented drink, which is great for helping our natural flora or bacteria in our guts to take care of our microbiomes. And that's why I include it. This one is here as a raspberry lemonade flavor. You choose whatever flavors you like if you choose to include it. Of course, this is sugar-free to take care of my body and my health as best I can. So in that goes, and that's everything I have in my smoothie. As you can see, this is a big old smoothie. So whack the lid on, and we give that a good old blend. And there you go, there's my smoothie. So I give it an extra blend just to make sure it comes out a bit smoother. Looks pretty thick today as usual, but that's full of great goodness for me to get started for the day and help me get through my morning as well as my day. So I hope you find this just as beneficial as I do. It's really tasty, even if I say so myself, in my humble opinion, but I hope it benefits you. And as always, please do like, subscribe, and share this information, these videos, this channel with anyone you think who could benefit from it. Until next time, everybody, ciao for now.